This is Isidore Anand again from Pondicherry. As I've already told you, that I've been in depression for the past 6 months, and I've come out of that. And again, about my future, I've been worried more about my future of my daughters, and they were also now doing well, and I have just come out of that also. And again, during COVID, my salary has been reduced to 50%. And when I came and took the covenant in December, from January onwards, I've been getting the full pay. So that's the good thing God has done for me. And I want to thank Jesus for the same. And again, my daughters, as I said, both of them are doing good. And my elder daughter, as I said, she had an opportunity to go abroad. The company has given the chance, and also she has another opportunity of double the salary which she is getting now in another concern. So she has 2 opportunities, and she needs to decide on that. And again, my younger daughter has been God placed in a very good company too, and she is into the final year of engineering now, and she has cleared her OCJP certification in the month of March. Okay, I took the covenant in December, and she cleared that in the month of March. And as I said, my home was filled with evil spirit, and after spraying the salt mixed with water, from which I got from Kreupasanam, and throughout my house, now I feel that my house is fully cleared from those evil spirit, and we are doing good now. So that's it. Thank you, Jesus. And
my name is Aileen Maria Martin, and I am from Delhi. I'm originally from Kerala, but I've been living in Delhi since I was young. I took the online Kreupasanam on 7th January 2024. The reason that I took the Kreupasanam was because one of my biggest dreams was to go abroad for my studies, and the first attempt for that was in 2020 when I finished my 12th class studies. But at that time, because of the situation and the time, it did not work out. After that, I did my bachelor's in psychology in Delhi itself, and I completed it in June 2023. And since then, I tried to apply abroad for my master's, and my preferred location was Australia. I had passed the IELTS examination in October, and I thought maybe now everything will work out, but my offer letter had not come, and even when it did come, we weren't ready with the money to pay the fees, so it got delayed. Then we had to wait even more. So my mother was very devout, and she would regularly listen to testimonies on YouTube of Kreupasanam, and she motivated me to take Kreupasanam myself and Kreupasanam Udumbadi myself. But at first I wasn't interested. I did not think that I could fulfill all the requirements and the things that I had to do. So I did not take it. But then later, with the support from my mother, I took the Kreupasanam Udumbadi on 7th January 2024. It's only been 1 month, but a lot of miracles have happened in my life. The day right after I took the Udumbadi, on 8th itself, I got the provisional certificate from my university, which I had been waiting for a month. I had applied for it in December, but I had not received it. And the moment I took the Udumbadi, the next day itself, when we went to the office, they said that we'll send it to you in 1 hour. And that day we received it, and we submitted the documents to my agent, and she submitted it, and the next day itself we got the offer letter on 9th January for a university in Australia. After that we paid the fees with the help of loan, and we on 17th January I received a confirmation that my admission was final and that I could go. Now we had to apply for the visa. We applied on 22nd. We prepared the documents and submitted it on January 22nd. And honestly, we were very scared because when I talked to my agent, she was asking me why I only have one sponsor and that my father should also be a sponsor. and she asked us for additional documents. So I was very scared that I would not get it. I was very scared that it would take a lot of time. But I prayed to God that I may get it at least by 26th January. Sorry. But the next day itself, in the morning, I got a call from my agent that I got my visa. So even though we applied on 22nd, we immediately got it on 23rd. And I'm going to Australia on 14th February, which is next week. And I'm really grateful for it, and my family is very, very, very happy. Before taking the Kreupasanam Udambadi, I had faith in God, but I did not feel as close to Him. I used to pray, but I wasn't dedicated enough. But after taking the Udambadi, I started going to Kurbana daily as much as I could, unless I was ill. I started doing the rosary every day. I did all the prayers that I was supposed to do. I was also reading the Bible every day for half an hour. And honestly, I had not taken confession for more than a year. But after taking the Kreupasanam Udambadi, I did the confession. And in terms of acts of mercy, I used to volunteer in an NGO, and with the money that I earned from my part-time and freelance, I used that money to buy books and food for the kids there, and it made them really happy, which made me feel very grateful. And I want to thank God and Mother Mary for giving me all these blessings. Without their help, it wouldn't have been possible. I feel like all the things that felt impossible to me worked out because of this. So thank you so much.
My Udambadi journey was quite different in the fact that it was more of a learning, more of a spiritual learning for me. So I was pretty good in studies. I used to come first in class all the time. I used to do really good in interviews, and even job, I used to get superstar promotions. And so I had worked for around 4 years in this financial company, and I decided I wanted a change. So I wanted to do either an MBA or a job, a different job. So I applied to a few jobs, and I got an interview invite from a firm in London. And so I did my normal prayers, I prepared, but I could not perform well in that interview. And that was sort of my first big failure. So that's when I saw that my mom was going to renew her Udambadi. And so I thought, okay, let me put these two intentions in her Udambadi itself. So I put two intentions. One was to get a good job, or to get a good MBA admissions. So I had to do the GMAT exam, which is an MBA entrance exam. And so that's what I put my two Udambadis for. And even in terms of the exam, I was not very scared because I was pretty good in writing exams. So I just put it on the Udambadi sheet. But on the day of the exam, I realized I went to a different test center itself. So I kind of like, my entire exam day was not perfect. And so I couldn't score really well on that exam day. So that's when I thought, okay, this is, second biggest failure again. So I thought, let me take my own Udambadi and let me do it really well, to the letter. So I came here, I took my Udambadi, I decided to do everything. I visited the sick, I distributed the papers, I used to read the Bible for 30 minutes. And so now I was very strong. I was just like, okay, fine, I'm doing this really well. Things are going to go really great now. So I decided to register for the exam, the GMAT exam again. And I wrote it once more. And this time I was like, okay, I'm for sure getting full because I've done, my Udambadi and stuff really well. But I got almost the same score I got last time. And so that was when I realized, okay, what is going on? Right? I was really confused. And I had applied to a few jobs and I got rejections from there as well. So, that's when I was like, oh my God, I'm feeling so sad. I'm feeling so angry. But it's in these moments, right, in these failures that you really can see your faith bloom. So that's what it was like God telling me, you don't know what the next steps are, but I'm just asking you to put one foot in front of the other and trust me. So, you should, when I was pretty successful, I knew that God was good, right? So it was like God telling me, do not forget in the darkness what you knew was true in the light. So you knew God was true in the light, but now when you all of a sudden not getting the success you thought, don't forget that God's still with you. So, it was still a very, very confusing, emotional roller coaster ride. But then I decided, okay, let me, whatever marks I have, that's enough. Madhav's there with me. And so I decided to apply to business schools. So I applied to one school in India, which is the Indian School of Business, and I applied to a few abroad. And my prayer was, God, please don't let me go to the Indian School of Business. I want to go somewhere abroad. So I continued my prayers. I was doing all of the Udambari stuff as well. And I used to just get rejections from every other school but the Indian School of Business. So that's when, it really struck me about how much you need to trust God, right? Because there are in times of darkness is when your faith blooms, when you realize, okay, God's ways is not your ways. All of this while I was saying, God, you know what, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? But that's not, you're not God, right? God is God. And even the way I used to think of Madhav, right? I used to think, if I do all of these things, I would get these blessings in return. So it was almost like an ATM machine transaction. But that's when I realized even Madhav's main phrase was, your will be done. Right? So we always need to surrender ourselves to God. And so that's when I realized, let me fully surrender myself to God. And I'm like, God, it's your will, not my will. And so I decided, okay, even if I'm not feeling happy about all of these things, I used to think everyone else is, when I listen to this testimonies and stuff, I used to be like, everyone has so many miracles during Udambari, but it looks like during my Udambari period, I'm just getting rejections and failures. So, but that's when I realized God was actually teaching me, you learn a lot through your failures than through your successes. That I wouldn't have learned to completely surrender myself to God if it weren't for all of these failures. So I would, so then after that, I was like, okay, God, I'm going to Indian School of Business, if that's what your will is. I went, I joined in 2 weeks. I got an admission acceptance call from one of the top business schools in the world called INSEAD from Singapore. And so that's when I realized this Udambari was not a journey of worldly blessings. It was for sure, because I got admission into one of the top business schools in the world, which despite no qualifications from mine, I had a low exam score. I did not, I didn't have a lot of work experience and stuff, but still I got it. But what was more important, what was more exciting about this Udambari journey was just how much spiritual knowledge and how, you change the perspective of how you see God, right? God should be in the steering wheel and not you, and you should always just keep trusting God. Praise to you, God.
Kelambakam Divine Mercy Church. I would like to thank Mother Mary, Isha Mashiach, Yosef Pidav, Parishuddhatma Dev for me to be able to come and testify in this altar to all those who are listening. I first took my Udambari in the month of June 3rd, 2023. And previous to that, I was able to come to know about Kreupasanam through my mother, who was listening to many testimonies. And at that point of time, my mother was going through a depression in her life because of what had happened in her life during those period of time. And I was also finding a way to be able to ensure my mom was in a proper mental health, and I was also in a stable place where I'll be able to support my mother as best as possible. While showing Kreupasanam and the testimony of many families, I was inspired by the same, because during the COVID years, I personally felt that although we were an average Christian family, we were apart from God during those period of time. We wanted to ensure that we were getting closer to God, and I felt Kreupasanam would be a good medium for me to get back to God in a more faithful and more powerful manner. Kreupasanam has helped my family in many ways, and one of the biggest testimonies that I can give is that my mother, who is the age of 50, after a period of 3 years of gap, her depression has completely gone away. She is in a more healthy and joyous life. She is leading with me a more religious and mentally peaceful life. And also on top of that, my mother, as I mentioned, she is having a 3 years of gap and the age of 50. She had attended multiple interviews because our financial stability is although good, we needed our monthly incomes so that we'll be able to sustain ourselves and not utilize our savings to the last penny. Mother Mary has blessed my mother with a job that is 44% increase from a last salary that is 3 years before, and is able to live a more sustainable life. And also our entire debts, close to 15 to 20 lakhs, is completely covered in this during a 1 month period. Personally, for myself, as I mentioned, we were apart from God during that pandemic duration, because of online masses and less interest towards, because since we are not going to church. I would like to thank Madhav to introducing to us to Kreupasanam, as it reignited the fire of Holy Spirit in us. Every morning praying the Pradikshanam Pratana, and every night praying the Sayana Pratana, and every day of our life reading the Bible and understanding it wholeheartedly, and ensuring that Bible reading is a part of our life. Contributing to others without any expectation is part of our life. Ever since I got my job, I was ensuring that 10% of my salary will be going to those who are needy, and I will pray that whatever I am giving may be able to grow and continue to contribute more without any expectations of return. And also my mother, now that she is also being able to getting employment, she will also start contributing every month on month 10% of her income to those who are in need of the same. Our contributions that we did as part of our charity work is that we used to ensure that monthly or weekly we used to contribute food for those who are not able to buy. We will be able to contribute to those any way of support that is possible from us, that they request once we identify that they are in need of it. And also on top of that, we were able to spread the word of God through Kreupasanam newsletters, Tamil especially, because since we are in Chennai, and English to our English ongoing mass members, and enable them to also understand the big factor in our life, that is Kreupasanam. And also we were able to introduce a lot of non-Christians and Christians who previously did not know about Kreupasanam, and we were able to ensure that they were also learning in part of their life what it is, ensuring that whatever troubles that they are having through prayer, that all troubles will be able to be answered, because prayer is the only solution. And most importantly, thank the God, because we are finding most peace in our life right now. Previously, we used to be an average Christian, but still there used to be fighting in the house, because that is how families are. We used to think normal average family, we used to argue, we used to fight for some random reason or the other. But right now we are self-conscious about what we are, how we are supposed to behave, how we are supposed to interact with each other, what respect means, what mutual respect means, ensuring that other person is also heard, even though what our opinion is right, maybe not. My whole character changed, my mother's outlook on life changed, our entire family's prayerful life has changed, and it is all not only because of Kreupasanam, but also because of our prayerful life that we were able to endure during this journey of this 1 year. And we continue to wish to have this covenant prayer life in part of us throughout our life till the end of our life. And that is what I would like to share my testimony to